Hi there, traders. This is Brad Gilbert with the FX Market Insight for the Friday, the 1st of May. All right, now let's just have a look at the markets. Now, some of you may have noticed, and I've been getting a few comments with my charts, etc. Yes, I have had a major IT issue this week. The desktop has blown a gasket, and I've been using the laptop. So that's why a bit of a change here on the what screens you've been seeing. The templates, well, they've just been modified, but they have got the same information. Now, just with that, I mean, there's been a load of other things I've had to do to accommodate that IT issue. And if anything, I overlooked yesterday, obviously being the last day of April, the month-end fixing, right? When you have huge variations in the, particularly in the equity markets, you do see significant fixing requirements where massive fund managers have to readjust their portfolios to the adjustments in the equity market. So what we saw yesterday was a major sort of risk-off day. Well, not major, I guess, in comparison to what we've been seeing. But US equities are lower, and that's going to lead all the other equity markets down, I would think, for the 1st of May. So, yeah, Dow Jones down 1.17. The Japanese equities at the moment down almost 1.5. We'll see how the rest of the equity markets sort of hold up, but I would expect them to come under pressure. Now, there's a whole range of mixed news, though, with regards to that, you know, the best sort of run for the US equities, et cetera, et cetera. But what we're trying to focus on is the top news that's going to impact our positioning at the moment. Now, we had a big event yesterday. Now, this is the news page, or top news for the currencies. To me, there's just a whole lot of wish-washy risk appetite, this and, you know, month-end fixings and a few other things. So there's not a huge amount of fresh news, right? Which is very strange. We've just had the ECB come out. Let me just come over to the charts. We had the ECB. They did not confirm that they would start buying junk bonds or junk debt. And that sort of saw the euro initially fall on after the ECB, and then the month-end fixing saw huge fixing requirements on euro and sterling. The US dollar got belted, or the dollar index, as you would expect, with euro and sterling rallying, and this really blew a lot of traders out, okay, that weren't really prepared for it. Usually on the month-end fixing, I would say if there's been huge variance in the equity markets themselves, you can never really tell what those portfolios, how they're set. But I would say just be aware, stand back from the market and let some of these positions roll out, because it can be quite awkward or hard to sort of track what's going on. It's not a technical trade. It's just a shift in the portfolio. And once it's done, right? That's all you need to know. So with the what we saw with the US equities coming off, bit of a risk-off day. Aussie drifted low down through that trend line. Kiwi drifted lower with it. And here's where you see the weird sort of situation where euro and sterling rally. You've got also dollar CAD coming back to that resistance line, and dollar yen had a pretty good day there, with the dollar sort of bouncing back up to 107.40. Now that's it, right? It's sort of odds and ends. But to me, there hasn't been a major shift here in some of these currency pairs. If I just bring you across to some of my multi-time frame charts, and you get it back to my normal sort of templates. Okay, I've got the Aussie here sort of rolling back over, but it's coming back down to a support trend line. To me, okay, this is a month-end fix. That's out of the way. The US dollar, the whole lockdown situation is still being rolled back out the other way, reversing. So I still think we're going to see US dollar lower, and we start to see some of these pairs higher. So like for the Aussie, yeah, short-term momentum is down, but the overall trend is up. So just be aware of that as you come into some of these pairs. Don't get suckered into, you know, checking out the hourly charts, which can sometimes be misleading with the price action. Now, just having a look at the today's Forex Daily Market Insight, right? If you come down, still to me pretty good trading conditions. What I'm looking for is still Aussie, dollar CAD, and sterling. These three pairs, to me, have very clear direction on the charts. Now, momentum is a little bit skew-if, but the trend is there. So Aussie's up. I'm looking for a, well, actually, coming down to today's best trade, I'm looking for a buy of a false break. Now, I'll explain that in a second. Dollar CAD, Still looking to sell rallies. We've got a great level here at 140 the figure. And sterling, well, it's up there in the boondocks, but if it does get back down towards 124.42, it's probably worth a purchase, unless there's some fresh news out that we haven't yet seen. Now, the Aussie, okay, let me just come back to my chart. It's probably easier to explain. It's there. Now, what I'm looking for, if I can just move one of my tools here. Okay, this is a situation where momentum is drifting lower towards the support trend line. Now, it's very hard to gauge momentum at this point, but with that, and being a Friday, okay, European markets, some of them are closed today. You could get to see a slight breach of this support trend line. And from there, the trend comes back into play. They take out the weak stop losses, and then it ricochets back into the range, and the range continues. So that's what I'm sort of looking for, a false break down through the trend line and looking to get back into the market as it comes up, back up through that trend line. To me, that looks like a pretty good opportunity, considering the sort of flush out yesterday was month-end fixing as opposed to fresh news. There's no change of news here, right? So just be aware of that as you go into setting up your trading opportunities. With some of the other pairs, okay, the currencies that are on the watch list, if anything, we're seeing, specific direction on the hourly charts, but you know what? Overall, most of these pairs are within recent ranges on the daily charts. And to me, that's a sideways market. It's not exactly clear. We do have momentum on some of these pairs, but to me, it's not good enough to really put my hard-earned cash into. So that's why they're on the watch list. And if I just come back down here to today's data, well, ISM manufacturing data, I don't think this is going to come into play. It is the bit of an earnings season, obviously, for the US equities. So you're sort of looking at the equity markets still at the moment for direction. Okay, and that's pretty much it. Like the dollar index, we're starting to get some really nice tangible levels. Now, I know a lot of traders have been sort of shying away from the markets just with the sporadic price action. But to me right now, the markets are becoming very attractive. And for instance, the dollar index, you can just clean this chart up. We've got a resistance back here at 99.35 and then again at 99.59. These are good levels. Right? These are solid levels. The dollar, to me, is going to be trending lower. And I like the idea of potentially getting long some of these other pairs. Aussie, or the CAD, which is selling dollar CAD and also buying sterling. That looks to me to be the best plays. All right, guys, have a good trade day. Hopefully I'll have my desktop computer back, by Monday. If not, well, I'll be using this one again. All right, have a good weekend, guys. Cheerio. Well.